AI is supposed to be one of the most advanced creations humans have ever made. Well, sort of. That's why in today's video, I'm going to be getting an AI to write up a story and I'm going to rank it from 1 to blockbuster Hollywood movie. So we're using this website called InferKit and it basically allows the AI to generate a story, but I have to give it some kind of foundation. So let's start with some kind of made up story from my end and see where the AI takes it. I was alone at home, didn't know what to do, and then I heard a bang in the basement. Let's see where the AI takes this. It can go one of two ways. I went down to the furnace room, door was locked and the pilot light was out. I started to yell for Tommy, but heard nothing. He had gotten busy doing something. I hadn't heard me. Wait a second. I said at the beginning I was home alone. Who the hell is Tommy? Okay, I'm gonna give this rating a 1 because it's gone off track. I don't even know who Tommy is. She looked at me in the eyes. I looked at her in the ear lobe, and then her mouth started moving slowly but steadily. Let me take care of this, she breathed slowly. She slid off the bed, pulled a strap off her halter top over her shoulder, and then reached behind. I feel like this story hasn't ended. I'm gonna have to change the length of the generation just to see if we can get a better sentence. And went behind her to unlatch the front. Before I had time to react, she pulled the fabric down from her chest and over her head, leaving her in a lacy bra. My mouth dropped open, my eyes went from her breasts to a perfectly curved head. Okay, I think we've just created ourselves a video. She moved over to my bedside table and opened a drawer and started rummaging through. I'm not going any further than this. This story doesn't have to continue. We're not rating that one because that was basically an adult movie. I was running away from the creature that was chasing me. I bumped into Tom and he said, "Come on and ride with me," but just ignored him. Tom knew something wasn't right. He kept on trying to get my attention and kept asking me if I was alright. I felt numb. I didn't want to accept that was happening. I just wanted to find my parents. So I walked back to the main road and tried to find them. I couldn't find them, but there was a car. I'm giving this one basically a 3 for at least attempting to change it into some kind of story. It kind of went off track, I guess. I'm not too sure. This AI isn't the smartest, let's be honest. It was a dark and stormy night. I was alone, and then I heard a bang on the front door. I answered, and it was a cop. And then he smiled at me with his creepy little deer in the headlight eyes and told me that my 4-year-old daughter had been hit by a car. What? So I was alone and then I heard a bang on the front door. I answered and it was a cop. Why is he repeating it? And then he smiled at me and why is he repeating? That could have actually gone to a dramatic direction, but he just repeated the same thing again. I was alone in space with an alien that was trying to kill me. I had my gun ready for when it bursts through the door. Until I learned it was not there. I hear screaming, so I look around. I find my entire crew of 6 on the floor, lifeless, beaten to death. I pick them up and go give them CPR, but realize they're already dead. A few minutes ago, I was on a planet that felt real, with a real town and a real people. Now, I'm fighting for my life on a cold battlefield. I can't. Yeah, that actually is decent. I'd give that probably an 8. AI, well done AI. That was kind of a good story. I want to generate more text just to see where this story is actually going. So it was a cold battlefield. I can't breathe. I'm already dead. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think that is a happy ending. Maybe my perfect ending would be to die with my crew in space. Not much has changed in the final chapter though. That makes Mass Effect have a new team. The game's map is more colourful than in the previous one, but this change is not new. Are we talking about Mass Effect, the game right now? This has gone from a sci-fi horror to, yeah, we're playing Mass Effect. I was alone in the world. Nobody was left alive. I then decided to buy a basic plan, apparently. I'm out of free characters. Thank you very much. Let's just stop the video there for just a second. Now, the video isn't ending. I actually made this video twice, so I've got extra clips for me to show you guys. So just buckle yourself in and continue to watch. I was home alone watching the X Factor final, very important part in the story. And then I heard a creepy noise come from the basement. I went to check it out and saw a shadow move across the hallway. I went to the basement door and then it turned and growled at me. I started screaming and then something grabbed me. I fought back with all my might. Something released me. I ran up the stairs to find Mum in the room. In the corner was a pair of bloody jaws with a blood on them. She found this slight freaky. And I mean, I'll give that story about a 3 out of 10. If I'm honest with you, it kind of stuck to the same route, but at the end it kind of went off at the same time. I never said my mum was at home while I was watching X Factor. They were pinned down in the bank, trying to get out alive. There was only one option, and that was to go down to the mountain to the rescue her. That moment changed my life. I never trusted anyone, even my closest family. I became violent. When people tried to touch me, I didn't care how much I hurt them. Eventually, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. What? But I never knew how to connect to the syndrome or how to understand what it meant to be autistic. What? I was kind of setting a scene of this bank robbery, and now we're questioning why we have autism. AI, what are you talking about? She looked me in the eyes. I looked her in the eyes. And before we decided to kiss, I said to her, "You're cherry." She replied, "I think it's my balls." So I bit them off and she began laughing. I felt bad. She was an awesome woman. After that, I decided to try to be a better man and tell my sister she was having an affair. She went to jail for stealing from the store I worked at, and I was furious. When she was released, I confronted her and she lied to me. The end. It was World War III. I put 34 as Jesus, that's a lot of wars. He was pinned down and there was no escape until someone burst through the door holding a bucket of water. They run from the room on rubber soles to meet the Land Rover from a well-deserved soak. After this, the bravest were invited to enter an old school classroom and spend the rest of the colouring... Wait, what? They entered an old school classroom and spent the rest of the day colouring pictures of Miss Havisham, while the really timid avoided a repeat performance of their experiences. This young visitor today was very... Oh. That was not the direction I was aiming for. I was stuck in a room, nowhere to go. And then I felt a weird urge to... Now this could go one of two ways. Go all the way down to the basement. It sure seems like something bad is going to happen now, but I have no idea what. 2 months later, I felt terrible for what I did to Amy, and I really wanted to make it up to her. So we got together for the movie night. I had her stay at my house, and it was so wonderful. I thought everything was going to go well, but now it stopped there, but I kind of want to generate more text to see where this story's going. I was still nervous, and it's so hard to find a good moment to talk to her. So we snuggled and watched the movie, and everything seemed to be perfect. We were acting like a couple. It was very funny and adorable. But right as the movie ended, she started asking some questions about my birthday and I had to deflect. I don't know how I did it, but I did. That's a fantastic story. Someone give this guy an Oscar. Just as the nuke was launched, I was home alone, and there was no safe place for me anymore. So I literally ran outside to see what was going on, and this person began attacking me, and I had to run back to the house to grab my gun and shoot him. I then called 911, and I was then taken to hospital to be treated for my wounds. Why did I do what I did? Simply because of all the hatred and killing that was occurring all over the world. All this man All this man. I mean, that story wasn't that bad. I'll give that story about 6 out of 10, considering it continued where I left off. I was stuck in space. Nobody around me, and nobody to save me. I missed my dog, my family, and my best friend, Frank. All I could think about was ending my life. That's how helpless I was. Rentacollection.com? What? Listen to Karen describing her ordeals below. So why do we engage in such behavior? This is... I can't do this. This is a question which occurs time and time again when I ask my clients. What compels them to take part in extreme things, like this woman in Tesco? It's human nature for us to seek out challenges. And B. We were in space and now we're in Tesco's.